Hi everyone, welcome back. I am Juliana and today we're exploring a powerful DAX concept that can make or break your conditional formatting in Power BI. The difference between MAX and MAXX. And why does it matter? Very simple, because choosing the right function is key when we want to highlight top performing items like the most profitable product or a city in our visualizations. If we choose the wrong function, everything might light up with the same color, which defeats the purpose of highlighting the top one. So today I'm going to walk through two different scenarios and show you what happens when we choose MAX or MAXX to use in the conditional formatting. The first scenario, I'm going to highlight the product category with the highest profit in the bar chart. And then I'm going to highlight the top city by profit on a map visual. So you're starting with a bar chart that shows product categories on the y-axis and the total profit on the x-axis. I created a measure called profit, which sums all the values from the total sold column. Now the goal is to highlight the category on this chart with the highest profit using a standout color. And for that, I wrote a measure using an if statement. So this is the first example. And on this example, we will use the function max. So whenever the profit matches the max to return the highlight color. Otherwise, if it doesn't match the max, to return the default color, which is gray. So let's have a look if it works. Let's select now the bar chart. And then I'm going to the format pane under bars. And I'm going to select the conditional formatting icon. And once I'm here, I will change the format style to field value. And I will select the measure that I create, which is this one. And then look what happened. Everything actually has got the same color. Nothing was highlighted. We cannot see what is the top performing category. If you're wondering why it happened, it's because max returns the maximum value within the current filter context. In this case, it is each product category in the chart. So for every bar, it's evaluating the max within just that category. So for example, just within electronics or appliances. And naturally, the profit will match the max in its own slice. So the condition is always true. To fix that, I have created another measure using the function MAXX. And this function iterates through all the product categories and evaluates the profit for each one, regardless of the filter. So let's have a look. So this is the measure. So as you see here, first create a variable called max profit. In this case, I use the MAXX, which will find the profit across all the rows if you're looking to the product category. And then it will return, the return statement is if the profit matches that max profit, the variable that we created above, it will highlight in the standard color that is orange in this case. Otherwise, it will return as gray. So let's have a look if it works. So I'm going to go back to the format pane and I am going now to select my second measure using the MAXX. Only the actual highest profit was highlighted. Why did it happen? Well, because MAXX looked through every product category using the all function to remove filter context. Then it finds the true maximum profit, and that value is being stored in the variable max profit and used for comparison. Let's now have a look at the second scenario. We're shifting to a map visual where each bubble represents a city. And the goal is to highlight the city with the highest profit. And the same way that I did before, I created two measures. The first measure is using the function MAXX. And I'm just going to show you it's not going to work. We know that's not going to work. Let's just try to use it. So let's go to the format pane under bubbles, colors, and under conditional formatting, we will select field value. And then let's find the measure. There we go. It doesn't work. Everything is the same color. Now let's have a look at the measure that I created using MAXX to highlight the city with the highest profit. So this is the measure that I created. It's the same thought process as the previous one, but on the variable where I use the MAXX function, this time I'm using the column city for the calculation. I'm not using the product category because what we are using in this visual, in this case, is the city. And then it's going to work the same way. Whenever the profit matches that max profit, it will turn orange. Otherwise, it will be gray. So let's see now how it will actually work. So let's change the format style to field value. And let's find the measure. Right. And there we go. It works. This time, only London was highlighted, the city with the highest profit. And if you want to double check to make sure that it works, let's hover over. So London has got over £4 million. And then we have Birmingham that's got over 3 million. And then Manchester as well, just under 4 million. And Edinburgh, again, just under 4 million. So London is indeed the city with the highest profit. So the measure does work. Now, I was just going to show you the difference when we use MAX and MAXX to create a conditional formatting to highlight the top value in a visual. But recently I watched a tutorial on the channel How to Power BI, and the tutorial was on visual calculations. And I realized that while MAXX works perfectly, so we can create the measure and use it, it does mean that we need to create custom measures every time that the target field changes. So we have to create one when it was for city and the other one for product category, for example. And we can actually streamline these. We don't have to stack up all those measures if we use visual calculations. So we can use visual calculations to have the same logic using MAXX and an if statement to highlight the top performing. Let's have a look how it will work. So I'll show you on the bar chart. Let's just reset the color. And then the way to do that, we need to come to new visual calculation. And then it will open this prompt. And we need to name the visual calculation. So I'm just going to name it CF, and I'm going to call bars and VC for visual calculation. And I'm going to start the same way, which is with an if statement. So let's say if, and then we have to add the measure that we want to evaluate, which is the profit. The measure has to be already on the visual to make it work. So let's add now the profit. And if that is equal to the max x, let's open the bracket. And then we don't actually add if we want to do the product category. In this case, for example, we select the option row. So once we select the rows, it means that it will evaluate all the rows. In this case, all the product categories. And then we have to put the comma and then repeat the profit. Let's close the bracket. So if that statement is true, to return hex code with the standout color, which is the orange, and I use the hex code E66101. Else, if it doesn't match the maximum, to the default color, which is gray, and I use the hex code A0A0A0. And then we close the bracket and hit enter. So we can see here straight away that it's the product category that has the hex code, that is the standard color, that's orange, is electronics. And if you look on the visual, electronic is indeed the category with the highest profit. So let's see how we can actually use it to conditional format the bar color. So the way that we created these, it's not ready to be used. We need to change the format. So if you just go here on the pane and we select data, we can apply the settings. We can select that we're going to apply the settings to these conditional formatting that we created. And the data type is not decimal. It should be a text to work. So let's select here text. And now it's ready to be used. I'm just going to move. We don't want to see this in the bar. Let's just move to tooltips. and hide because we actually don't want to see the value on the tooltip. Now let's click on back to the report. And now let's apply the conditional formatting. So we do the same process. We go to the format pane, bars, and then click on the conditional formatting option. And then we have to select format style to field values. And then when we click to select, we're going to see here the visual calculation. Okay, we created a CF bars VC. We click on that and select OK. It highlights the category with the highest profit, the same way that it did when we create the measure using MAXX. So, as you can see, there is a big difference when we use MAX and MAXX. MAX returns the maximum within the current filter context, and MAXX iterates through a table or expression and return the real maximum value. If you're feeling adventurous, you want to have a go and try visual calculations, that's a really good way to reduce the number of measures we have to create and reducing clutter as well. Just bear in mind that if it's something you're going to have to repeat across different visuals, maybe it's better to consider creating the measure. Thanks a lot for watching. If these helped you, hit thumbs up, subscribe for more tips, and let me know in the comments, when did you first realize that Max wasn't giving you what you expected in Power BI? It's goodbye from me now, and see you on the next video.